Hey everyone, thanks for joining our Tech Talk. Today we're going to dive into the trenches and go high level as we talk about AI managing complex code sets and the Salesforce ecosystem. Today we have both Arto and Jari, and I'm going to give them a moment to introduce themselves. Arto, welcome.
Thank you. So my name is Arto Lehtonen. I'm working in the public group IT department as a Salesforce manager, leading a Salesforce team, supporting right now multiple Salesforce instances. I've been around in Salesforce almost 16 years now. So yeah, that's starts to be a little bit long time.
A lot of badges on your trail there.
No, I am really bad to complete those badges. I have studied a lot, but normally when I go to trailheads, I'll just search for something specific thing, and when I found it, I'll basically end.
Good to know. Good to know. And let me just introduce Jari, and then we need to come back to how you learn new things for Salesforce. And Jari.
Hi, Allison. Hi, Arto. My name is Jari Salomaa. I'm the CEO of Valo AI, based here in San Francisco. And Valo is a new AI admin service solution for Salesforce customers in the Salesforce ecosystem. But I also actually worked at Salesforce in the platform product management team and behind a lot of different Salesforce products like the security health check and Salesforce Shield, big objects, and a few others. So I'm really excited to talk about the ecosystem. I think my journey began 2013. So it's been 12 years.
Nice, nice. And the purpose of our webinar today is for folks to learn from folks who are veterans and what's on the cutting edge and new and coming out. And so we're going to go through a set of discussions, and we hope that when you listen to this webinar, you give us feedback. Either drop it in the bottom of the webinar, or please feel free to email us via LinkedIn with direct message and DMs. So myself, I'm an independent consultant in the tech space from a cybersecurity background. I also have an AI startup. So let's get into some of the Salesforce specifics, and let's start with Arto. But of course, Jari, you're welcome to jump in. We want to really tee up some of the core struggles today because it changes. But if you think about today, your work in the Salesforce environment, what are the biggest struggles, Arto, that you're facing?
Personally, I would go. It really comes on how when you have a Salesforce instance that has been around for a long time, there has been multiple different administrators, there have been multiple different companies implementing something there. So, and in worst case, you have merged different companies in one Salesforce instance. The end result is that you have complex user setup where you have different permissions and nobody really knows how things work. And when you try to find something or try to figure out certain permissions, sometimes it can take a long time. Really, you are making queries on a workbench, playing in Excel and try to do the matching and so on. That's of course, you could say that, oh yeah, you just go and clean up your Salesforce org, but practice, nobody has time for that.
You said, I think, the magic words we can spend some time on. Nobody knows how it works. And I've been on both sides of that as a business owner, where I'm just trying to accomplish something and I'm talking to the admin to say, look, I just want to make sure the leads show up in Salesforce, right? And I've been on the flip side where it's like, okay, we have all of that and 3 people have left, right? We've had a consultant come in and try to work it. We've had our admin leave because he's overworked. So yeah, that I think the key of nobody knows how it works sounds like it's really a big struggle, especially in long-time Salesforce environments. Jari, do you see things differently?
I think, Arto, you brought a great point in terms of the historical view, being in the ecosystem for a long time, and also kind of I've been an administrator in a volunteer kind of situations, but never really experienced the admin job as a full-time paid admin or an architect in an organization. But I definitely have felt the pain and, building and kind of constructing solutions inside Salesforce and now as an ISV. But I would maybe double click on the overall kind of complexity that Salesforce itself is complex. like, like when you think about 3 releases a year, every 4 months, there's something new. So over these like 20 plus years, the company has really like built this incredible supermarket of software capabilities and functionalities. No one can really know everything and how it works and how to configure it. And now that especially if you multiply the fact that you're in an organization where you have multiple people working on it, to kind of being able to stay in the know what's the left hand is doing, what the right hand is doing, and also then the time. So I would say that probably late 90s, early 2000s, Salesforce was like simple to configure, simple to build with, and you could probably find the buttons and things could be done quite easily. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's a very advanced application that requires expert people to know what they're doing, which is also, I think, an opportunity here in terms of these new AI solutions and automations to simplify again and create like this advanced tier back to maybe more of a basic tier or beginner tier in terms of trying to make things more simpler for customers. Because ultimately, I think what majority of customers want are relatively simple outcomes. They want to do lead mapping and lead management. They want, really smooth, efficient opportunity management process. They want a, customer support and case and tasks to be efficient, and just the way that like you're customizing and creating things, like it's like every little thing starts to be a lot of work. So that's kind of like my kind of, I think, what I would raise to the top. But like being a big ecosystem, like, there's a lot of complexity to layered onion. It has multiple layers, but I was thought with the overall kind of like, this is a big onion that has hundreds of layers.
Right. And so on the one hand, massive levels of complexity, and on the other, a business just trying to move forward as fast as possible and drive those leads forward as fast as possible. So you feel like you have some tension. But Arto,
I would add on that one is that like it's a little bit on I would almost say Salesforce fault, because they have these, they are really good on marketing, and they are really good saying that, hey, it's easy to configure something and so on. And there used to be what it was like click, no code, and really easy to implement Salesforce. And it is, but only until a certain level. And trying to get that, like when you start really customizing, like Jari said, like you can customize Salesforce a lot. You can do nowadays almost anything with that one, but do you really want to do that one? And then you need to maintain. That's where the problems come.
And this is where one of the things we want to talk about today is how much can we leverage AI, and to what extent, and what do we mean by AI? So I think the first part, Jari, I'm going to tee up to you, is AI in Salesforce has a lot of meanings and connotations, from agents to other interpretations. Can you just cast a little bit of a definition of how you see AI in the Salesforce ecosystem?
So I was in the company when Salesforce went on a kind of an AI acquisition spree and started building the Einstein platform and, Einstein kind of co-pilot and a lot of the AI automations to be able then to help a salesperson to detect which leads to work with and or for identifying the most applicable knowledge article to be able to support to closing a case and a lot of those kinds of automations. I would say that like now Salesforce has really pushed forward the Agentforce platform, where agents are now kind of taking actions, and there's like a trigger component, almost like a flow in a way that there's a certain discovery of certain things and then a consequence. And a lot of the Agentforce is focused on the end user. And I think a lot of the agent actions are great for sales managers or sales teams, doing core CRM actions. I think where now Valo and my company and our team and product is focused on is a lot around the administrator and the builder, the person kind of behind the screen working to create Agentforce flows, triggers, managing access controls, who should see what, and what kind of a layout we're putting in front of a person, and what type of licenses they are required, what kind of like other tools, managed packages, other app exchange tools should be involved in the overall experience. And I think a big difference with Salesforce AI and Valo AI is that Salesforce is focused a lot on the end user actions. Valo is in the admin actions. And then we're seeing this whole kind of a wave of AI across all of these, like whether it's CI/CD, DevOps pipelines, to code scanning, Apex creation for developers. And it's really, really exciting time in Salesforce, but also I would say in any cloud platform at the moment.
Love it. And that's where we are now, where we see AI, and then Arto, you're living it day to day. So what have you trialed or experimented with, and where do you see AI in the real world day to day?
I have been playing around with AI and Salesforce, but not in a way that like we haven't implemented anything yet. But like how I see is that like, yes, like Jari said, like Salesforce Agentforce is really focused on the end users, and I see that there is a multiple use cases that will definitely be there. Like if it's a support agent supporting like a customer, really they are able to close the case faster because they are able to get the knowledge articles faster, or basically already get the ready-made response for the end users, which is great. But then also like when it comes on sales, like just the use case that they are able to, instead running a report, they can basically ask that, hey, okay, my opportunities, where I am, and AI is able to pull that information to you. So it's one of those things that I didn't even realize like earlier, but I learned that you don't really need to build reports necessarily anymore for the sales, because they are able to just use the AI to pull the information that they are looking for, which is kind of neat.
Yes.
And then of course, like Jari mentioned, like there is already coming like even Salesforce is, I think it's coming already on the sprint release. There is coming Apex coding, and there is coming Agentforce flow builders and so on. So yeah, it will be interesting to see where we are at the end of the year.
Yeah, and you're hitting on something that I'm hearing, being involved in a lot of AI projects, where it's one thing to find something for you, it's another thing to just take care of it for you. Yep. So if you run me a report as a business owner, now I've got to analyze it, right? Okay, so I have to analyze it, and then I have to figure out what I'm going to do. So what you hear with the desire of what people want from AI solutions is what you described, which is, yeah, that's great. I don't need the report. Just do the action from the report for me.
Yep.
And Jari, I've heard that some of the Valo functionality does exactly that. So it kind of takes it beyond just discovery to, I guess it's right behind you, discover, observe, resolve.
That's right. I'll do it this way. Yes. So yeah, I think what really Valo is laser focused on is I would say, tabling time. I think one of the big problems, I think, for both administrators, architects, developers, as well as end users, power users, super users, is that you still need to, I think, analyze and spend a lot of time looking at a screen, looking at rows of information, and coming up to a particular decision outcome. And what I think AI is really powerful to really and helpful is to be able then to make